Welcome to Mind, Body, and Plate, the show all about uncomplicating emotional eating and the relationship that you have with food in your body. If you are done battling emotional eating, chasing weight loss with restrictive diets, and obsessing about food and trying to punish your body into submission, this is the show for you. Mind, Body, and Plate weaves together the emotional, the physical, and the nutritional aspects of your life so that you can find peace with food and make peace with your body and get on with living a healthier, happier life. So let's get into today's show. So, we are coming up on the end of the year. And if you're anything like me, you're probably looking into the rearview mirror of 2023, and you might be telling yourself things like, well, here we are again. Another year's behind me. I'm still fat. I'm still out of shape. And I have to start the whole mess over again in January. Well, let me tell you something. I get it. This was me for decades, my entire adult life. As much as I loved the holidays, I hated to see them come for that very reason. It was a giant reminder of how I'd failed yet again. So I'm Norma. I'm a life coach and a health coach. And on this show, I'm going to help you uncomplicate emotional eating, dieting, and how you feel about your body. We're going to pull this thread all the way through your mind, your body, and your plate. It's the emotional and the physical and the nutritional aspects of your life that we need to look at as one experience so that we can start to heal from years of diet culture BS and get on with living the life we really want to have. So let's talk about these thoughts you might be having around wasting another year because you haven't lost the weight or you haven't improved your health or maybe you haven't achieved whatever the goal was that you set for yourself. There's so many different directions this conversation can go. So I'm going to apologize up front if I get a little all over the place, but let's just dig in. First, let me say it again. I know how heavy this feels. I did this to myself for years. I know how disappointing and frustrating and upsetting it is. But I'm going to ask you to do something for yourself right now. Find some self compassion, just a little. Life is freaking hard. And maybe every ounce of your energy this year has been sucked up or consumed by some really hard shit. But here's the thing you might not be recognizing right now. You're here. You survived. And maybe surviving is all you had energy for. And if that's you, I say well done. Well done, my friend. There is no rule that says when December rolls around, you have to have accomplished something really big to be worthy in this world. And certainly, there is no number on the scale that makes you any more or any less worthy of a person on December 31st. It's so easy during the last couple of months of the year to fall into that trap of doubling down and trying to eke out every ounce of results we can so that we don't feel like such a failure on New Year's Eve. It's in our face too, all the time. All the gurus and all the experts on the internet, go, 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 hustle, 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 go hard. Ugh, it's just too much. And besides, who wants to have that kind of pressure during a holiday season that's meant to be filled with love and joy? Yet, that's what all the gurus and the experts are all telling us to do is to double down and work hard. Now, I'm not suggesting that you throw up your hands and give up. Not at all. What I am suggesting is to be realistic. Get out of your head and let go of measuring your success by the calendar. Eking out a couple of extra pounds by the end of December isn't going to change your life, but taking good care of yourself will. It's the seemingly insignificant things that you do every day that actually matter, regardless of the date that's on the calendar. Drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, and yes, enjoying a few Christmas cookies. Now, that's my thing. It may not be your thing, but that's what makes the holidays enjoyable for me. And most importantly, taking the time to be with the people you love. That's realistic. That moves the needle on your goals. It's also the best form of self care. Self care is not willpowering your way through the holiday food or going to every single holiday party that you've been invited to or spending money you don't have on gifts that no one really wants or even cares about. Self care is not starving yourself for those last couple of pounds on the scale. And self care is definitely not beating yourself up over not losing the weight or achieving whatever it was that you were trying to achieve in 2023. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not saying having goals are bad, not at all. I think goals are actually quite good for us if they're realistic and they're balanced. And most of us who've struggled with emotional eating, dieting, binge eating, and trying to hate our bodies into submission, we're not really good at being realistic or balanced in setting our goals. We're just not. But that's for another show. But anyway, let's wrap up with some final thoughts. If 2023 wasn't your year, give yourself a break. The calendar might dictate a lot in our lives, but trying to force a whole year's worth of work into a few weeks at the end of the year is just not necessary or realistic. You're putting a whole lot of unnecessary pressure on yourself. Instead, why not make a new goal for these final weeks of the year? Set a goal of self compassion. Be kind to yourself. Be intentional about your small daily actions and decisions. And by all means, have a Christmas cookie or two. It's really okay. You don't need my permission, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. So thank you for being here. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast here on YouTube or wherever else you're listening to the podcast. And don't forget, I know how complicated and out of control emotional eating can feel, which is exactly why I created the pause method. It's a tool I share with my clients inside the Mind, Body, and Plate membership to help them pause when those difficult emotions send them straight to the kitchen. Pause method helps them slow down the urgency they feel to eat and gives them a moment to decide what else they might need instead of food. The tool is so effective, I couldn't keep it tucked away inside the membership, so I'm sharing it with all of my podcast listeners. Just click the pause method link in the show notes, and I will zip it right off to your inbox for free. So until next time, have an uncomplicated week.